What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Nick with Leverage Media, and today I want to talk to you about how to generate great testimonials for your chiropractic practice. So as everyone knows, testimonials are a great way to kind of get people over the hump of scheduling their appointment. It's a great way to tell stories. It's a great way to give people an idea of what they can expect in the practice. But whenever I see chiropractors doing the, kind of North Korean hostage video style testimonials, I always cringe a little bit because it's usually a difficult thing to get somebody to agree to do a testimonial. So when you get them to say yes, you want to have a system in place that's, number one, going to create a good visual piece of creative or a piece of content. And then number two is you want to try to draw the story out of them and draw the emotion out of them as much as possible. So I'll talk a little bit about what I see a lot of, and then the two things that I think are really important when you are when you're actually creating great testimonials. So the thing that I see a lot of that I would like to see stop is somebody takes out their phone or has a camera in the office. Usually it's a phone. Because I can usually tell, like, if they upload it to YouTube, it's got the black bars on the side. But they'll take out their phone and they will, just basically talk to the person ahead of time and say, tell your story and, tell what you like about the practice or whatever. And then the person stands up against a wall, or they sit in some chair with like kind of a gross background. And then the person hits play on or record on their phone, and they just sit there and record whatever it is that they say. Now, the reason why those don't work that well is, number one, I think that you want to make it visually appealing. You want to put it in your best looking space so that it just visually looks nice if somebody does stumble across it, or if you run it for an ad and push it out into the community. But then number two is, most of the people that are going to leave you a testimonial are not like the most like media savvy people. A lot of them aren't great speakers, or they get nervous, when they don't create a lot of videos, and so I think that people just are a little bit camera shy. They're worried about how they look or how they sound. And so when they are by themselves and somebody's just pointing a camera and not really saying anything, it can just become intimidating. Even if they could tell a great story when it's just you and them talking, when you go to record it, it doesn't really come out the way that you had hoped. So what can you do to create better testimonials? So number one is, find an area in your practice, or maybe a few areas in your practice that look nice. You could also use a green screen. They're pretty affordable now. You could set one up, in some back office, or you could have maybe like a little pop-up one that you can assemble and deassemble. But that way you'd have to have the video editing capability to use the green screen. But just to keep it simple, I would probably choose 3 or 4 different places in your office that have a nice backdrop, that you've got a little bit of distance away from the wall, so that there's a little bit of depth of field. And, have good lighting, if you've got a window in the room, have the window facing the person that's going to be on camera. So it's behind the camera. That way it'll give good natural lighting. There's probably certain times a day that it's better than others. But that's always a good way to think about it. The other thing that I would recommend is for you to be in the video with them, if you're or whoever the doctor is. So whoever they're giving the testimonial about, I would like to see that person be in the video, kind of almost like a host of a late night talk show. Like you're guiding the conversation. If it starts to stall out a little bit, you've got something that you can move on to next. But it'll make them more comfortable because they know you. You can have them look at you. Don't have them look at the camera. Just have the camera be a bystander and capture the conversation. You just do a quick little intro to the camera, and then you turn to the patient and you focus 100% on them. They focus on you, and then at the end you'll go back and you'll give a little bit of a wrap up and a close, maybe a call to action, and that'll be the end of it. So that is like how to actually stage it and how to keep them comfortable. What's the most important is the questions that you ask, and just kind of internalizing those so that it comes off as a natural conversation versus like you holding a clipboard and reading, questions that you want to ask them. And it just becomes almost like an interview versus a conversation. So I would, I'd recommend getting Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. They have testimonial questions in there that I use for my practice and for Leverage Media that I think do a good job of pulling that, trying to pull the emotional parts of the story or the things that are going to be the most interesting, instead of like, I really like the front desk person, or the office is always clean. Instead, it's like, where were you at before you came in to see us? What has the process been like? What does it feel like now that you've got your problem solved? And a couple of other ones, but that's kind of the gist of it. Is it's a lot about like, how is it affecting your life? How are you feeling? How were you feeling? And just, again, you have to internalize these questions so that when you're in the conversation, you can take the conversation wherever it's going to go. And I try not to worry too much about the testimonials being a certain length. Like, I feel like if it's a good story, somebody will stick around and listen to it. And if it's, say it's somebody with, terrible migraines, it's giving this amazing story of how their life has been transformed. If I'm somebody who has terrible migraines and I happen upon this video, whether it's 13 minutes or 2 minutes, I'm probably going to be interested if it's interesting enough. So your role in the process is to make them feel comfortable, be interested in what they are talking about, be very engaged in the conversation, and have some structure to it, and then just allow the conversation to kind of go free flowing. The more that you can do that, the easier it will be for you to ask for it. So like when you have a great, re-exam with somebody and they're so happy and they're so satisfied, you don't want to complicate it and like schedule it for a week from now. The more that you can pull out your phone and have a conversation with them, the more that you're going to be able to collect them. And if you can follow those kind of basic guidelines, you'll end up with some really good ones. And then you can give me a call and figure out the best way to utilize those. So hopefully this was helpful. Hope you guys will start to capture more great chiropractic stories, share those out in the community. That's always going to help chiropractic grow. It's always going to help your practice grow. And hopefully that was helpful, and we'll see you on the next one.